Batwing number 14, written by Judd Winnick, art by Marcus Toe. This picks up where last issue left off of Batwing coming in to help the vigilante known as Dawn fight against the Finders cult. Because, yeah, why not? But first, we have a flashback years ago to the children's home that David was in after he escaped from the warlords. And a young woman wakes up screaming named Rachel. And David comes in, calms her down, saying, like, hey, you were having a nightmare. It's over now. You're fine. And she's like, when are the nightmares ever going to stop? When am I going to stop seeing these horrible images of the things I've been through? And he's like, they're probably not going to stop. They're going to keep going. But, I mean, they do end. The nightmares do end. So, at this point, we go back into the fight. Batwing and Dawn are fighting side by side. And Batwing launches a distraction so that they can manage to get the innocents out of there. And he launches, like, a light thing from his suit that blinds all the finders. But before he can get too far, he ends up getting controlled once again by the finders group. And so he then starts attacking Dawn, and Dawn's like, you gotta snap out of it. And she pulls out a necklace from her pocket, puts it onto Batwing, and does some weird light show thing that manages to snap him out of it. And at that exact moment, the police all arrive, guns drawn, just like, oh, freeze everyone. And we see, what's her name? The police officer lady that David likes, who was looking for her niece. She's leading the thing, and she sees her niece in the crowd, and she's like, Leela, come back, it's me. We cut to Father Lost, who's like, well, things have gotten very complicated today. I need all of you to come home. And all of them immediately just recognize, like, oh, come home. They all start running away, including Leela, who manages to escape. And Batwing manages to trap a couple of them, but of course not all of them. So then we cut to Father Lost's lair, and he sees all the people who managed to come back, and he's like, all I asked of you was to kill the woman who was giving us so many problems, and you couldn't even do that right. Well, that's just going to have to be fixed by me personally. So he takes one of his followers and, like, does the whole Temple of Doom thing where he just literally rips out his heart from its rib cage and leaves him sitting there. So then we cut to Batwing's HQ, and it's just like, okay, we did some research as to who Dawn is, and turns out it's Rachel. And Matthew's like, how does someone go from a children's home to hunting a mad cult? And David's like, isn't that exactly what I did? And it's like, yeah, but that's different. She's got, like, mystical swords and stuff. How did that happen? She's like, I don't know. But we do know that she managed to go work for the government for a while. So let's find out the contacts there. So Batwing goes and talks to someone named Miss Kotala, who worked with Rachel at some point, and basically just does the bat enhanced interrogation where he just dangles her from really high up asking questions. And turns out that the whole reason that they left was, or that they are going their different ways and that she's currently on the run, is that back when they were all working as, like, a government secret covert ops thing, they went to a house to investigate this cult before they got any sort of real finding. And when they came into the house, they saw that, like, this people were here and they had these mystical powers. They took out 3 of the 6 members of the team, and then all of them committed suicide. So it was enough to really freak him out. But Rachel took it to heart and, like, is now trying to take them apart. So we cut to a ruins where I guess the finders are doing their next sacrifice. And as they're about to kill a young woman, Dawn, of course, comes in, starts slashing everybody up, just like, oh, everyone here is coming home with me. But it was a trap. They were just waiting for her to arrive before they started firing on her. So she starts trying to take cover. Batwing, of course, shows up, gives her a little bit of extra time to escape. And as she jumps over one of the ruins, standing there just waiting for her is Father Lost, who's like, hello, Dawn, it's been too long. And he takes a knife and just shivs her, just right into her stomach. And she is bleeding out on the ground as Batwing just does the whole Batman Begins thing and just screams, Rachel! So, yeah. I like it. I think it's, I don't know. Here's the thing, is that they're purposely keeping this cult mysterious. in terms of like what it's able to do, how it got its powers, blah blah blah. Father Lost especially being a mysterious character. And there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of mystery. I think that it's fine, but it's hard to toe that line of where does the mystery stop and just being an unfocused story begin, I guess. It's a line that's this one I feel is dancing around a little bit where we keep on doing this thing where Batwing keeps on getting possessed, and maybe it's going to come back in like a major way. Maybe it's going to influence a later part of the story, or maybe it's just kind of like a stalling tactic and it's just kind of part of the unfocused story aspect of things. I'm not sure where this one falls yet, which kind of makes me think more unfocused, because if I'm not sure, then part of the story is not being told correctly or well enough, I should say. But it's not bad. It's by no means a bad story. I think that it's got a lot of interesting things, a whole cult human trafficking thing going on. All of them interesting topics that I think this Batwing run has done a good job dealing with the sort of similar ways of. So, in general, I think I would give this one I give it like a 7. I think it's good. 6.5. I think it's fine. I think it's a good one, but it is still an issue of if it doesn't figure out what it's trying to do quickly here, I'm losing interest more than anything else. It just doesn't feel like we're actually working towards anything. So 6.5, see where we go.